Hi and welcome. My name is Jillian Elizabeth, and in this video, I am here to show you how to pull your own astrology birth chart. And so I'll walk you through the process as well as how you can customize it based on what your purposes for getting this chart might be. And then you can take the image of this chart, save it to your phone, print it out, and have it for your own study of astrology, or if you want to share with friends or work with your astrologer personally. So the site that I recommend for diving into this is astro.com. And so this is what the homepage looks like. And from here, we'll dive in. From here, you'll navigate over to the area of the chart called My Astro, which will take you to the space where you can type in your birth information. And so you can create your own account, which will save your chart for you. But you can also create a chart easily without logging in as a guest user. So I'll select that here. And then from here is the chance to type in your birth data, as well as if you ever want to know the astrology of a particular day, you can use this section to look for the astrology or the map of the stars and the planets for a particular day, or here you'll see it's listed as an event or other. For the purposes of pulling this chart, I'll use myself as an example, and that way you also know when my birthday is. All right, so typing in my name, Jillian Elizabeth. And you can choose a specific gender that you might identify with, or if you'd rather not say, you can select event or other. I identify as a female, so I'll select that. My birthday is September 4th, 1987. Next, you'll type in birth time. And so with birth time, if you don't know your birth time, you can still pull a chart. You'll just select unknown. You do have to make a selection. And so if you're not sure of the birth time, or again, you're doing something like an event and there isn't a specific time based on the day that you're choosing, you would just select unknown. For me, I was born at 12:13 a.m., so just after midnight. Okay, and then here you'll type in where you were born. And so usually once you start typing in the area that you were born, if it is a major city or if it's a mark on the map, it'll come right up. And so I was born in Santa Rosa, California. And so you'll see that there were several places called Santa Rosa, and so California narrows it down, and then I'll select the city or the town of Santa Rosa, California. Okay, and so that's it from here. So you'll just select continue. Once you have the chart pulled, it'll take you to this page. And so from this page, we will go right ahead over to extended chart selection. And so extended chart selection allows us to get a little bit more specific about how this chart is created. The two areas that we're going to be shifting are chart type and house system. So for chart type, what I really like to do is to understand what might be going on right now. And so with that, we look at transits. And so a transit really tells us, well, where is the moon now? And how is that in relation to where the other planets were when I was born? And so we'll go from natal chart wheel all the way down to natal chart and transits. And so this is going to be our chart type. As you saw, there are lots of different ways that we can look at astrology. There's lots of different charts that we can pull. It's a pretty deep science and an equally as deep art. And so for the purpose of today, without getting too overwhelming and too detailed, just stick to natal charts and transits. Okay, and so then the next is house system. And so house systems can be an area of astrology that brings up a lot of questions for somebody who's newer to astrology and even somebody who is pretty experienced with it. And so for the purpose of just starting out and really getting familiar with your chart, what I suggest is whole sign houses. And so whole sign house will make the area of your chart that your ascendant is the first house. And the house system really teaches us a lot about different areas of life that might be impacted by astrology, and different areas of our psyche that are influenced by the zodiac. And so whole sign can give a really nice drop in an introduction to astrology and is actually a house system that is used by a lot of astrologers. So we'll start with this one. So from here, you'll click to show the chart. Awesome. And so here's a snapshot of my chart with the whole sign house system based on when and where I was born. And so you'll see that there's quite a lot of information here, and it might look totally weird and totally confusing. And I hope that that's okay for you, because this might be new. So what we're looking at on the inside of the chart are where the planets were when you were born. And so they're all marked by a glyph, and that makes it easier for astrologers to read, and it's easier for a map to be created. Then in this ring of the chart, we see the constellations, and the constellations are also marked by a glyph, the first one being Aries, the last one being Pisces, and all of the other zodiac constellations falling in between. On this outer ring, where you'll see the planetary glyphs again in green, these are where the planets are today as of when I pulled this chart, which was January 3rd, 2020. And so you'll see that all of these are arranged obviously in different places than when they were born, where they were when you were born. And so this creates areas of tension and ease and different situations in our lives. And so this can be a deeper area of study for astrology. Where you see these lines, these mark the different angles that planets may be in relation to each other. Some of them can create tension, some of them can create ease, some of them might not be noticeable to you at all. And so these are particular to each person and is something that can be interesting to get deeper into. So when you drop down into the chart a little bit deeper, you see that for those who might be more linear and less pictorial, this can be helpful, and it is also a key to learning the glyphs of the planets. And so you'll see that each glyph represents a planet listed here. In this blue column, you'll see the degrees to which all of these planets landed within your birth chart. So for example, at 11 degrees of Virgo is where my sun, at 23 degrees of Capricorn is my moon, and along down the line. And so this is really helpful for astrologers because we really look to the degree of things when we're calculating different aspects to your chart. And so you'll see some of these aspects are marked by these symbols that are to the right of your chart. And so for example, we have Venus and Mars in a conjunction to each other in my chart, which is marked by this little funny symbol here, where we'll also see that the Sun and Neptune form what's called a trine in my chart, which is marked by a triangle. And so some of them are easier to read and some of them are more challenging to read, but in general, you'll see different aspects being marked out in this part of your chart. Okay, and so then here in this green column are the degrees to which the planets are now in the chart. And so this is called the transit key. And so you'll see that at 13 degrees of Capricorn, that's where the sun is as of today, January 3rd, 2020. And that can be helpful in comparison to different aspects of your natal chart. And then finally, I'll walk you through this graph here. And so this gives a breakdown just for a quick glance of where you are in terms of the elements. And so we have fire, air, earth, and water. And as you can see, I have a pretty dominant spread in earth. And so I have a lot of earth in my chart. And your chart will likely look completely different. And one area I don't have a lot of planets is water. Up on this part of the key are the triplicities, and this is another area of astrology that we break down different things in. And so the three areas that we have in the triplicity are called cardinal, fixed, and mutable. So this is pretty deep and specific, and I just want to give the disclaimer again that if this feels overwhelming or confusing, there's no worry with that. This can be overwhelming and this can be confusing. And really, this is a science and there's so many layers to it. And so just see if the information lands for you. And if it doesn't, then we'll go deeper when we connect. So for the purpose of continuing what I was talking about, cardinal signs, they represent constellations that initiate a season. And so we have 3 cardinal seasons. Then we have fixed. So fixed marks the middle of a season. So we're in the heat of the summer, or we're in the middle of the fall, or the dead of winter. And so these are more fixed qualities. And then next, marking the end of the season, we have mutable signs. And so the mutable signs, they mark transition and change into a new season. So that's the overview of the birth chart and how to pull it and how to quickly glance at it. So I hope this was helpful, and that through pulling this, you're able to access it and we can use it together when we connect. Thank you so much for watching and for listening.